Hey guys, Paul McLean here. Welcome back to the Monday Morning Mindset Podcast. Hey, as I say each and every week, and I mean it, it is such a pleasure and a privilege to have you join us each and every week. And my desire in my heart every week is to provide you great value, where this week could be better than last week as you're exposed to different thought processes, patterns, belief systems, practical things, mental things, so you can just really go to the next level in your business. And so today, guys, I really got a great guest on. I thought about this being a mindset podcast. And the truth is this, 80% of this business is mindset. 80% of your life is mindset. In fact, your life is always going in the direction of your strongest thoughts. And so today, as I sat back, I said, man, who has really kind of gone through just a slow start, like a lot of adversities, a lot of struggles, setbacks, and then just continue to persevere, push through it, and is now having some great success. And so the person that showed up and it was a no-brainer was Kelly Vincent. Kelly, good to have you on with us today, my man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, brother. Well, hey, just so people know, and then I've got some great questions to kind of unpack
Yes,
this.
sir.
But Kelly, you've been now 3 years in the business, and you've hit President's Club what, three times in a row?
Two years in a row.
Two
My
years.
my
This is
first
your
year
third year.
coming in. Yeah, this is
Okay.
my third year. Yes, sir.
So every year you've hit it. This year, are you going to hit it?
Oh, we're hitting it for sure. We're on track for 800,000 issue paid
You're on track for
right now.
800,000 issue paid. So
Yes, sir.
guys, as a producer, Kelly's going to do 800,000 personal production. Last year over what was last year? 500, 600.
It was 560,000, and then in 2024 it was 580,000 issue paid.
Okay. Awesome. So that's a lot of volume. So you're going to be doing like, almost $2 million, right? In 3 full years. And so if anybody's on here that's like, man, I'm just getting started, like, man, can I create great success pretty quick? Well, Kelly's done it in 3 years, but it didn't start that way. So Kelly, the way it started was getting your license. So anybody that's checking us out, or if you're already with us, the first thing you got to do is pass your life insurance exam. Kelly, let's talk about that. Like, how long did
Hmm.
it take you? How many tests, did you have to take in order to get that green check mark?
Yeah. Well, I think we hold the company record. We failed the insurance exam 19 times, and then we passed
19
it
times.
the 20th time. So it was
Okay.
a year and a half of just spending money on the course, retaking the test. It was a lot. It was a lot of adversity.
Okay. All right. We got to unpack that, bro. All right. Most
All right,
people
let's
would
do it.
quit after three or four times. You
Yep.
took it 20 times, dude. Like
Hmm.
that's crazy. 20 times, not three, four, not seven, but 20 times. So what kept you going, bro? Like, because I think this is a ticket. Now, listen, everybody that's listening here, you can say, well, I, I passed them a second time. Okay. Are you hitting your goal? If you've not hit your goal yet, if you say, Paul, my goal is to write 60,000 a month in personal production or 40,000, whatever it is, and you've not yet done it, what we're going to talk about is the a clue that's going to help you in everything. And I would venture to think that Kelly, this characteristics also led to the reason why you're $2 million in issue paid within 3 years as a producer. So what kept you going, dude? Like, what was it? Why did you not give up?
Yeah. So if I can pinpoint one thing that helped me keep on going, it was honestly my sister, Holly. She's the agent that got me in, recruited me as well. She was already in the business 2 years at that point. She was doing in person, and she just transitioned into virtual sales. So during that time when she was transitioning into virtual sales, I was actually in solar. I was doing telesales in solar. My first year in solar, I was an appointment setter, and so we were going through like 400 to 500 inbound leads a day, trying to book up appointments for closers out in the West. And then about 6 months later, I was ended up being a closer for solar. And then, long story short, at that time, I remember just like it was yesterday, it was July 4th weekend of 2023. My sales manager calls me up and he goes, I got some good news and bad news. And I was like, okay, well, hit me with the good news. He goes, well, good news is you're going to have a long 4th of July weekend. Uh, Bad news is your last paycheck is tomorrow. And I was like, man, what in the world? And at that point, I would probably fail the test around 10, 11 times. And so number one, I was living paycheck by paycheck, and I didn't really know what my next step was going to be. Um, and I remember when I got that phone call, me and my wife now, but she was my girlfriend at the time. We were house sitting for my parents, and I went outside, and I just had this like rush of anxiety. And I'm not really a very anxious person. Like you met me in person, Paul. I'm pretty laid back. I'm a chill
Yeah.
guy, right? But just this anxiety in my gut, like I felt like I was going to throw up because I didn't know what next step I was going to take. And um, kind of a little more of a backstory. My family is very grounded in church. I grew up in church, so I always knew, you know, the wrongs, the rights, how to do things properly, right? And at that point, the only thing I literally went on my knees and I started praying. And I remembered a message from I think it was Hyles Anderson College. One of the pastors spoke on a verse in Proverbs about we should ask God for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And it just came to me, right? And then that's what I asked God then and there. And then within an hour, I had 3 interviews lined up, 2 guaranteed jobs, because I knew insurance would be the direction I need to take my sales career. I knew it was a no brainer. Holly was always sending me deposit receipts. Oh, I just got paid $1,000 from a 40-minute conversation yesterday, right? Rub it in my face, as the older sister does, right? And so she always was kind of the fire behind me to keep me going during that time. And of course, whenever that happened, my life at that point, I wasn't taking life serious. I was just living paycheck by paycheck, not really looking forward to getting on a self-development plan. And that's whenever I decided, okay, with me failing the test so many times, I even had my father whisper in my ear a couple times saying, Kelly, he owns an electrical business in our hometown. He started that up whenever I was born. And he was like, insurance isn't for you. You failed the test 10 times. So he was like, let me put you through trade school. I'll pay for it. You start your apprenticeship program and just be an electrician for me. And I told him, I was like, Dad, I have to do this. I failed it so many times. I have to see this through. I have to. And so that's whenever I realized, okay, maybe I wasn't the right person for the opportunity just yet. So I decided to hop on a personal development plan. We started reading books. I think the first book I read at that time was Atomic Habits. We started developing our walk with the Lord every morning as well. And then we started to, consuming more positive content as well as, skill development content, books as well. And honestly, I think that's what really, really helped me keep on going, even when I failed the test the 19th time, to take it the 20th time and pass. But that was kind of the adversity and mindset I was going through, during that year and a half of failing the test.
Well, dude, you said a lot. I mean, we've got 5 podcasts now that we're gonna have to cut to unpack these concepts, man. That was so good. I got a couple things that I want to kind
Yes,
of
sir.
rant on a little bit
Yeah.
and add to because that was so good. There was so much value in success principles and concepts that are in what you just said that we got to unpack. Um, but I got to ask you this first because, like,
Yes,
when
sir.
your dad came to you when you had failed it 10 times and said, "Hey, I don't know that this is your insurance is not for you." Now, your dad is a person that you respect, right? He's your
Correct.
dad, so just by position of being your dad, he's got authority, right? He's got credibility. Um, and oftentimes, we really kind of believe about ourselves, our life, our situations, our circumstances, what we're dealing with. That belief is derived from what other people believe about us and believe about those things. And so, especially ones that hold high authority and credibility because of their position. How did you what did he say when you felt it 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16? Like what did that look like? And like how did you not slowly kind of just succumb to what he believed, right?
Yeah.
and say, yeah, he's probably right. Like, how did you not do that?
To be completely honest, I wanted to prove him wrong. I really wanted to prove him wrong because it wasn't just my dad telling me maybe insurance it was for me. It was even my past sales manager in solar that was like, "Hey, we're going to start up a new company." He was whispering in my ear trying to get me back into solar, telling me insurance is a scam, pyramid scheme, all that good stuff. And so honestly, my mindset of like pushing through the adversity was, you know what? I need to prove these people wrong for myself and then for the other people too. And I know that's not really a great mindset to have to try to prove people wrong, but for me, growing up and even going through college, I was always kind of the underdog, right? The joke on the short end of the stick almost a little bit. And so I kind of had that mindset even through sports and especially going through the test. I was just like, you know what, Dad, I love you, but I'm gonna prove you wrong. And it's funny, me and him talk about it all the time too. Every time he calls me and we talk about business together, since he owns his own business, I take a lot of financial advice and spiritual advice from my father from that point.
Dude, that's so good, man. And I think that is the right way to approach it. I think that, oftentimes like um the best intention, like the people that have the best intentions for us, right? Like when they give us feedback or it's because they want the best for us. Like your dad didn't say that because, he wanted you to miss out on, writing $2 million in 3 years. Like
Right.
he's looking at the evidence and saying, like, this is my boy. I gotta, maybe this is what he needs to do. Let me kind of speak to him and kind of help him out here because like I mean, he's setting himself up for maybe failure here. And even though they've got great intentions, we got to ask ourselves, like, and I think this is where the relationship with God is important. It's like, oftentimes when the door is closed or seems like it's getting shut or it keeps getting shut or there's a lot of resistance, it's not a sign that this is not something that you should be doing. It's usually a sign that this is something that's going to bless you more than you think it's going to if you just continue to not give up, persevere, and get on the other side of it, right? I mean, I always look at, like, we look at basketball, like, LeBron James doesn't have people double team him like Kevin Durant. Like I think the Lakers beat the Rockets really because they did such a great job double teaming Durant in the
Mm-hmm.
last game. They didn't double team
Yep.
him because he sucked. They were like, hey, double team the sucky dude, right? No, they're like,
Right.
this guy is back. He wasn't in game one, he's in game two. He's got such a high level of impact on the way this game ends. We better double team this dude. And they did it effectively, right? And so resistance isn't like evidence that it's not what you should be doing. Sometimes resistance is evidence that this is what you should be doing. You just got to persevere. You got to get on the other side of it. And so when you feel like you're getting double teamed, you're failing the test, you're failing the test, you're failing the test, and there's resistance, you're getting triple teamed. Like, no, that's not a sign that you should just go sit on the bench. No, that's a sign that you need to just dig deep. And it's evidence that you are a big player. And this is a game that is going to lead to a whole nother level in your life. You just got to persevere. Now,
Sir.
the second thing I got to say, Kelly, is like your response, like it wasn't this is the wrong opportunity. So your interpretation changed. First of all, your interpretation of your dad's feedback was, I'm going to prove him wrong because I don't believe that just because I felt it, that means that I shouldn't do this. That's the first step. So everybody on here, I had it, you've probably had it. We're all more like than not alike. When somebody tries to give you good intentional advice, like advice with good intention, it doesn't mean you got to take it, even if they hold high authority. Like you've got to really check and say, no, what? I think that this is a sign that this is going to be really good. I got to keep digging. I got to keep moving, and I'm going to prove them wrong, and I'm going to show that that I'm going to win this game still. The second thing is the interpretation of it wasn't like woe is me, like dude, like this, like poor old me, like I just can't pass the test. It was like, no, this is not the wrong opportunity. This is the right opportunity, but I might not be the right person for that opportunity yet. So let me personally grow and develop. Dude, that response is such a success principle and a clue is saying, maybe I'm not yet the person that I need to be to actually attain, and not just attain, but sustain and scale the success that I hope for. How did you do that? I mean, like when your mind was like, I got to get better. And then I think a lot of people intend to have a personal growth plan, but they don't execute. What helped you
Right.
execute in that personal growth plan?
Yeah. Like what I said, whenever I got that phone call and I knew my last paycheck was coming in, and I was living paycheck by paycheck. Um, the in what I prayed to God that that moment, I asked Him for one thing: knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Right, the power of knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Because obviously, I knew I was a baby in sales. Right, I knew I needed to develop, and so that ended up becoming a habit of asking God for those things. And it's crazy. It was like a veil, moved to the side, and I saw things a little more clearer. And what helped me see more things clear, obviously God, number one, but was also using my what's the word I'm looking for? Using my persistence of hard work and putting that into a personal development plan. For example, I started waking up a little bit earlier, had my walk with God in the morning earlier. I started intentionally setting aside time throughout the day to read books. And I'm not even a book reader. The only book I read prior to that was the Bible, right? And then so Holly, I reached out to Holly. She's like, "Hey, Atomic Habits." I was like, "Wait, perfect." And I reached out to Gabe Erickson. He was like, "You want to get into sales? You want to be prepped for the opportunity? Read Jordan Belfort, the Way of the Wolf." And that really opened my eyes on the psychological part of sales. And then at that point, I take huge responsibility of taking care of my cognitive health as well from that point. So we stopped doing, all the terrible stuff that I probably shouldn't be doing at that time at my age. And we got clean, and also, really focused on my cognitive health as well, to really help develop my mental and my mentality coming into the business.
Yeah, so good. It's kind of like for most, um, when life is kind of getting tough, the better response, not the easy response, but the better response is, man, maybe I need to get better so life can become easier. And maybe life is so hard because I got to get better. And I'm not saying that like you caused it all, what have you, but like, sometimes it is caused by us from choices we make. And then sometimes it's like, you can fall into trials of many kinds. Like you just like, I don't know how this happened, right? Like this, but both should lead us to look inside and say, man, how can I use this? And how can I, get better and grow from this? And so I absolutely love that, man. And I would just encourage everybody on here to take a look and ask yourself, do you have a personal growth plan? Not like, oh yeah, I do. Okay, okay. What is it? Like specifically, like how many podcasts do you listen to? What podcast do you listen to? Is it every week? On what day? What time? What do you listen to while you're working out at the gym? What do you listen to while you're driving your car? Um, what book are you reading? What book are you gonna read next month? Do you read a book a month? Is it a book a week? Book every 2 weeks? What does that look like? What is this the actual plan? How many pages does that equate to every single day? Do you have a gratitude journal? Are you listing things that you're grateful for, embodying, visualizing, and really stepping into the experiences that produce that gratitude? Are you forecasting? Do you have a vision of what you hope for? Are you embodying that and triggering gratitude to kind of trigger that in advance before it actually happens? Like, are you doing that? Do you have affirmations? Are you speaking to the next level version of you, the version of you that needs to show up in order to be able to get to the success, the more disciplined you, focused you, positive you, optimistic you, driven you, relentless you? Like are you speaking that? Like what is your personal growth plan? And if you don't have it, Kelly, I was talking to a group the other day and I said, I've kind of thought about, this business, this industry, and there's a lot of things that I'm very grateful for that it's produced. Produced financial freedom. I've been able to give very generously 6 figures a year to the church and other different organizations, and like I've been able to build them on my house and a lot of these things that I've been able to do. But I said I think the thing that it's helped me the most, and the thing that I'm most grateful for is it's such a personal growth focused industry. Like there's such an emphasis on getting better and developing yourself more than anywhere else, more than anywhere else. And so, I think that's so important. What are some other personal growth things that you've done? It sounds like you stopped doing certain things, like, cognitive, like that probably be like smoking weed and, snorting
Yeah.
cocaine or drinking alcohol or smoking crack. I don't know what you were doing, but like, all that stuff kind of messes up your brain. Um, which is good. Like, I agree with you. Like you got to start saying like, is it worth it? Is it trade-off worth it? Like I feel like numb or it helps me sleep. Okay, well, it does, but what does it hurt? And does what it hurt outweigh what it helps? Like you got to figure all that out.
Right.
But what are some of the things personally growth wise that you do that you think have helped you? Like, is there a
Yeah.
couple books you'd recommend? Like any other thing that, for someone that's wanting to develop a personal growth plan and doesn't have one, for one, I think it's the most important thing they can develop. But what
Right.
would you say?
So one of the biggest ones that really helped me was consuming positive content, right? I think podcast, I love it. Listen to it all the time. I'm doing cardio, working out. The Diary of the CEO. That's one of them. One of the main ones I listen to.
Good.
And then consuming positive content. So meaning like, okay, I'm not just gonna doom scroll through TikTok, right before I go to bed, right? So I'm gonna do devotions with my wife instead, read something positive, right? Um, Also even music too. Like I stopped listening to a lot of different music I used to listen to back then just because I noticed my energy was down when I was listening to this certain type of music. And so I started putting a little bit more, worship songs in there, a little bit more uplifting music, kind of higher beat, just so I feel a little bit more better too while I'm going throughout the day as well. As far as books, the first book that really helped me start the personal development plan was Atomic Habits. And then as far as sales and tactical stuff for sales, I would say the best one I ever read was the Straight Line Method by Jordan Belfort. And then kind of the more positive and leadership books, the 360 Leader by John Maxwell. That one was a big eye opener as well for me. I'm actually reading one of John Maxwell's right now, the 21 Refutable Laws of Leadership. I'm halfway done through that book, and so we need to get another book recommendation for next month. We're trying to get a book done every month right now for
I
the year.
love that. I love that, man. It's simple and it's something that like you don't read 10 pages and it might not just absolutely change your life, but when you do a book a month over a period of time, you're like, man, you just start seeing things different. And how you view things is how you do things. And so like if my view of my business, of shortcomings, of chargebacks, of just whatever else it is, if my view is different, then how I respond and everything just starts to get different. And then also my life looks different. And so, man, I think it's so crucial. And I'm a big John Maxwell, fan. Like all the
Oh
leadership
yeah,
books are phenomenal. Um, and I think that's important too. Like looking at like what are the areas of your life that you're called to grow and get better in. And so if you're in this business, one of those would be sales, right? And so each week, I have it blocked out where I have a sales podcast that I listen to. It could be Russell Brunson, it could be Ed Milet interviewing one of the salespeople. Like I'll look at and see like who he's talked to, and but I have a podcast each week that I'm focused on sales. It could be a book, maybe it's at the gym and I'm listening to a book for, that hour. And it's, Pitch Anything is a great one. I just got to
mm,
listen to. Never Split the Difference is another good that one. It's kind of like sales related. So, but then I've got one in leadership. So each week I also know if you're in this business and you're building a team, even if you're not yet building a team, well, if you're not, you should be building a team. But if you're not building a team, you got to lead yourself. The hardest person to lead is yourself. And so, um, every week I have a leadership podcast I listen to. I listen to Craig Groeschel's leadership podcast, and also I listen to some Ed Milet leadership podcasts as well. Um, but yeah, like really kind of saying like, how are you getting better? Because if you're not, the crazy thing is the results don't fulfill, but getting better does. The results will feel good for a minute, but they won't feel good long term. And if you're not growing and you're still getting the same results, even if it's a result that's better than what you expected and the result that you desire to have, and you feel great when you're growing, when you're developing, when you're getting better. And so I love that. Kelly, the one thing, last thing I want to really touch upon,
Yes, sir.
I mean, like I think this has been so good because this is the stuff that matters mo mo most, like good consumption, right? The scripture says, meditate on things that are good, praiseworthy, noteworthy, excellent, admirable, of good rapport. Like a lot of what our meditation and what we're consuming is so essential because out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. And so if you're walking around and you're saying stupid stuff, I would ask yourself, what's your consumption? But talk about, so Holly is sharing this good news. She's giving you this testimony. Your dad's kind of like, man, maybe you become an electrician. Holly doesn't think that, obviously, because she wouldn't keep sharing you and poking you like, hey, I just made 2 grand again.
Yeah.
What was she telling you when you were failing it like the 11, 12, 13, 14 time?
Reschedule it. Reschedule it. I remember I was on the phone with Mindy and Holly while I was kind of failing the test, and I even had Cameron at that time make me a little Quizlet to study for the test, all that stuff too. But no, Holly just really kept using her results to motivate me, um, and also really showing the future too. Like I remember, I remember even when I was failing the test, Holly didn't even come up with the team name yet, and me and her was talking about how Dad, paved the way for our financial legacy, right? And then I was like, you know what, Holly, and she probably won't like give me the credit, but I will definitely take the credit. We'll
Well, hey,
say
you're
today.
on the podcast today, not her, bro.
we
So take
we
all the
uh
credit you want. You got the mic.
we we came up with the name Greater Legacy Solutions. And the reason why we came up with Greater Legacy Solutions, we wanted to also leave a greater legacy for the people we bring in, right? Teach them how to have a great financial legacy, but not also just financial, spiritual, mental, self-development too. So that's why like I'm targeting a lot of the young people when I'm on recruiting calls, because maybe they were in a similar situation that I was, where we dropped out of college, didn't know what direction to go, didn't know what career we wanted to tackle. But as long as you have, and I tell everybody this coming in when I run interviews, you got to have 3 things. Number one, mental fortitude. So you're going to get hit with objections and you're going to start a business. So you can't let the emotions outwork you. You got to outwork the emotions, right? Second thing, adaptable. You got to be adaptable. There's so many ways in this business you can sell, right? So many ways you can skin a cat here. And maybe a system that I use may not work for you, but you're going to have to be adaptable so we can plug and play at that point. And then the third thing would be the persistency. No matter what life's showing you outside or inside the business or on the field, you got to show up. You got to show up and work.
Man, it's so good. I remember reading this quote in Think and Grow Rich. It said that persistency is the insurance policy against failure. Like, if you just keep
Wow.
getting up, you know, like that's like taking out an insurance policy that you're not going to fail, right? Like you're covered, you're protected against failure through persistency. And I think, on the contrary to that, the converse, it's like procrastination is probably the insurance policy that you take out against your success. And so for anybody on here that's delaying because you don't want to fail the test again, or delaying because you don't want to have that agent that you recruit fall off and they don't find success, or you're procrastinating on investing more in leads because you're waiting for a filling or a condition or whatever to take place. Like, man, stop procrastinating. That's the insurance policy against your future success. So put that down and pick up persistency, meaning that no matter what takes place, I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to persist. And so if I persist, then I can't fail. And so like, let's just get after it, right? Let's go put our head down. Kelly, this has been so good, bro. I've taken so much from it. And I think that the last thing that I really want to highlight that you said
Yes,
was
sir.
Holly continuously sharing that good news. And, you know, I just got done doing a podcast a little earlier, and I was talking about, scripture says that we're saved by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And so getting the right testimony in front of us, it kind of saves us from falling back into a lower level us. If it saves us from falling back into bad disciplines, bad habits, bad lower beliefs, lower level thought processes. If we have the testimony of success, then we can glean from that. And so the reality is in this business, the beautiful thing is that Kelly, all that, although you have become successful by anybody's, metric, I mean, you're gonna issue pay $2 million within your first 3 years on your own pen, and you've got a team you're building as well. Um, your testimony you create through your success is going to lead to other people gaining and getting to success. And man, what a beautiful business that is. And so I would just encourage everybody on here, don't lose track of how important sharing your testimony is. Or maybe if you don't have one yet, sharing somebody else's testimony, like sharing this podcast, sharing Kelly's story. Like it don't have to be your story yet, but you can share somebody else's story, right? When the apostles didn't have all their, testimony from the miracles that they had yet performed, they were sharing the testimony of what they had seen Jesus go out and perform. And so I would just encourage you to share the testimony. If Holly doesn't share the testimony, her testimony of success, Kelly, you might not be here, dude. You might have listened to your dad on the 13, 14 time if Holly wasn't reaching out and encouraging you, say, hey, just reschedule, just reschedule. Hey, by the way, look at, I just wrote another 2K. Oh, look, I just wrote another 3K. I just wrote another, like, dude, you might not be here. And if you're not, think about all the clients that are not served and think about how your life is forever different if you weren't. So, guys, save others by your testimony and share the good news. And so, man, thank you so much for being on today, bro. This has been
Yes,
really,
sir.
really, really good. And I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
All right, guys. Well, hey, let's make this a massive week. If you didn't already, I don't want to say you're selfish, but your behavior shows that you might be. Make sure to share this with somebody because you don't know if there's somebody on your team or somebody out there that if they hear this, this is the very thing that's going to help lift them up and keep them moving forward. Because the truth is this, everybody has got greatness in you. God does not create crap. And although your story or process or journey might be different, the end result is great success and an abundant life if you continue to persist. And so share this, like this, subscribe, get on each and every week. And guys, we love you and thank you for joining. Make it a big week. Be strong, stay steadfast, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, guys. See you.